Hi, in the next few videos we're going to talk about tables. We're going to see how we're getting data from a table, adding, updating, and removing rows. One thing to notice is that the ways that tables are implemented in Oracle Forms sometimes might cause some complexities or some confusion about how to record them, and we're going to address that. So let's dive right in. We already have a recording here, get customers table. So it's already running. And if we're going to look in the form, we'll see we have a header part, the customer details part, and we have at the bottom the orders table. Now let's say I want to have both. I want to record some parts of the header and also to get the required columns from the table. So of course, I'm just clicking on the fields that I want to include as output parameters. For example, I'm clicking on the ID field, the name, and the address. Now, when we're getting to the table part, it's basically just the same. I'm clicking on the columns that I want to include as output parameters. So I'm going to click on ID, date ordered. I'm just going to click through all those columns. And when I'm done, I'm going to click on page down. This will cause the table to scroll, but more importantly, it will tell the service manager, this is a table. We actually have a table in our recording, and we want you to acknowledge that. So the service manager, when he runs the service, would just scroll to the bottom and get all the rows, all the required information from the table. And our best practice is to have more than our table size when recording the service. So clicking page down will actually cause the table to scroll down. Okay, so we're done here. Let's just click save and exit, and let's see what we got. So our service get customers table, and as we can see, we have a few output parameters here. Now, those three are from the header part, so we're good with that. But the other ones are from the table, so we do want to mark them as multi-record. Since marking them as multi-record will tell the service manager we want to have an array of data for those fields. We don't want to have just a single result. We want to have all the results from the table. And we're creating the service. Now let's test it. And as we can see here in our JSON that we got from the server, we actually have two parts. We have get customers table array, which is obviously the array of the data that we got from the service. And we can see here all those fields, all those columns we marked from the table. And if we scroll all the way down, there is another part here, which is the elements part. And this is all the single results that we got from the header, the ID, the name, and the address. So we can actually combine both of those unique types of data into the same service. Now this is all good enough, but we actually have a caveat here. If you look at the table, we have another field which I didn't address before, which is field. This is a checkbox. And let's say I want to include this checkbox in our recording. So as always, I'll probably just need to click on it. The problem is when I'm clicking on it, I'm actually causing a change. I'm causing something to happen. I'm actually changing the data. Now this might not be a big deal because if I'm not saving the data, it should be good enough. But sometimes just modifying the data might cause some changes that are unexpected. Maybe a dialog is going to pop up, maybe an error message is going to pop up. And as you probably remember, we want our services to be as thin as possible. We don't want any changes, any unwanted side effects to be caused just by us running our service. So we actually have a different method of recording or another functionality, a powerful functionality that we can use for such cases. Now for that, I'm going to generate a new recording. So I'm going to services, adding a new form service. Let's call this get customers table full. And I'm just pasting the URL here. Let's click on begin. And we're back in the form. So as I said before, if we'll click on this checkbox, on this fill checkbox, it might cause some unwanted side effects. So in order to prevent that, we'll go to the recording pane, and we have a button here called Capture Parameters. Now, what this button does is, if we'll have this screen, for example, it's just going to go through all the input fields on the screen and generate output parameters for each and every one of them. Just be mindful that this is more suitable for forms like this, which don't have a massive amount of input fields. If you have a form that has a lot of them, this will generate a big and maybe unmaintainable list of output parameters, which is not always what we want. But in our case, this will be good enough. So I'm going to click on the capture parameters. And it says here output parameters were successfully added. And now I still need to tell the service manager, you have a table in this recording. Just notice that. So I'm going to click on any column, doesn't really matter because we already captured all those parameters. So all of them are going to be included. So I just need to do the scrolling action. So I'm going to click here and click on page down. And now the service manager knows we have a table. So let's go back here. Let's do save and exit. And let's see what we got. So as you can see here, he captured all the fields from the header. So we have there the phone, the address, the city, the state, everything. And we might want to remove some of those fields. We might want to save just some of them. We'll not deal with that right now. Obviously, this is something you can do when you're recording your own service. But what's important for us to notice is here, you already marked all the table parameters as the multi-record parameters, and we already have this field, the field checkbox, which we wanted to save. So let's just create the service and test it. And as we can see here, now we have all the output parameters that we wanted, including this field checkbox, which is empty here if it was not marked, and true when it was marked. So to summarize, we saw two ways to record a table, either to click on each and every column or to click on capture parameters, but you always have to remember to click on page down when we're done, so Service Manager will know that we actually have a table. And in the next few videos, we're going to see how we're changing the data in the table. Thank you.